Masinya Attorneys Incorporated, a boutique commercial and taxation law firm in Midrand, Johannesburg, South Africa. Strategic lawyers on point with more than 20 years of practice experience. We are professional, capable, and qualified.
Hello, everybody. It's another week. Thank you so much for being here. Good to be with you wherever you are. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I know you are in different parts of the world, different time zones. So it is only appropriate that I recognize the sort of like day, time of the day that you're in over there. I hope you're doing very well, yourself and your family. And I hope your relationship with God, which is the most important thing that we have, is growing and you're making sure that you're keeping it healthy. Thank you everybody for being here. I guess Boyd was the first to come in. Thank you, Boyd. It's a good day, Malume. Thank you, Christine from Kenya. Appreciate you. Ali, thank you from Accra in Ghana. We got Telvis watching from the US. Awesome. Emmanuel, thanks for being here. Victoria, good to see you also from England. Good morning, Uncle Solomon. Good morning to you too. Mwape from Lusaka in Zambia. Yeah, it's been a while, brother. Last week I didn't see you here. Good morning from the US, Pern. Thank you, so good to have you here, Pern. From the former Port Elizabeth, Alita. Great to have you here. Awesome. From Lagos also. We got from Austria. Oh, awesome. Good to have you here, Cheryl. Cheryl from the USA. Good to have you here. Good to have you, Juliet. Good to have you, Liso Baba. Good to have you here, and Tabitha. Awesome. Good to have you here. And she's saying hello to everybody who is here, and Evangelist Kambule from the Free State here in South Africa. Great. So, sometimes you hear certain news that is shocking, and when you share it, it becomes, some sort of like, oh wow, what is that, right? So I want to share this. I want to share this story that has been making the rounds in the last few days. The marriage for citizenship scam. Now we know that marriage for citizenship, happens quite a lot across countries. Like when you see, especially with Africans or maybe Asians, like Indians are also involved with it, Pakistani. So it's not just Africans that move into Europe or North America, and also it happens here in South Africa quite a lot. Also, marriage for citizenship scam where you arrange a marriage, you go to the Department of Home Affairs, which is where you legally register your marriage, and you say you're married, you get married, and then you get given citizenship or permit to stay in the country, and then later on you get a green card. Like in the US, in South Africa, you get the permanent residency, which allows you to stay in the country indefinitely. And then after about a few years, then now you get your citizenship, full citizenship. But the whole thing is the foundation of that legal paper that allows you to stay, to get permanent residency or green card or citizenship is all lies. We've seen that happen so many times, not just around the church, but when Africans move to Europe, sometimes it's difficult for you to get, to be able to get a job, or for you to be able to sort of like make your stay permanent. You face different challenges, and I know we Africans, we face a lot of those challenges, and then you end up getting married to somebody for citizenship, and later on you divorce. But in this case, the issue I'm talking about here is actually claiming you are married to that person, but there is actually no marriage. The wife of uh, Joshua Aginla in the US, who is also a pastor herself, did the same thing. So you take photos, you go this, but all you do is you pay people, citizens of that country, to pretend. You go out there, they pretend, you pay them, and then they pretend they're married. They get married to you, and then you register and everything, and then it's fine, and you go your separate ways. You're not even in a relationship. I mean, worst case scenario, like in South Africa, it happens quite a lot where you can actually steal somebody's identity and then go and get them married to another person without their knowledge. How is that? In South Africa, there's a lot, almost even a lot of Africans from other African nations who are in South Africa who are married to South Africans. They get being accused of getting married for citizenship. I've been accused for getting married to my wife, who is Zulu speaking, for citizenship. No, my wife has a Nigerian green card. People don't know that. I don't even have a South African citizenship. But my wife has a Nigerian green card. And I got that for her for free. It's free. You get it for free. The moment you get married to a Nigerian, you don't have to be married for a year or two or whatever. No, no, no. You get that immediately. So the story I'm putting out today is a story of a pastor, a Nigerian pastor who's based in the USA, in Maryland, who has been behind the scene facilitating this scam marriage for citizenship project. He would get Africans, Nigerians, or whatever that wants to get citizenship or get green card, and he would arrange. He would even use the church's documents to propagate that. How do you do that? Right? How do you even get to a place where you even get the guts to do that? There is a God. So this is the pastor right here, as you can see him. He's Nigerian. His name is Joshua. He's Yoruba speaking. He has a church, and I'm going to show you. I'm going to give you the name of the church and everything. So this is him. You can see this is actually in church. He is right there in the pulpit, maybe preaching or saying something to his congregation. And I heard that his church is actually some sort of a thriving church where it's located. So this gentleman, this Nigerian pastor, he faces 5 years in the US prison for allegedly fixing fake marriages for green card. So the marriages are fake. They're just marriages to be able to get the other person to stay in the US indefinitely. I'm sure you guys in the US and you guys in Europe, that are watching right now, you've heard a lot about this sort of arrangement, or you've met people. I've met one or two people, Nigerians here in South Africa, that have actually entered that kind of arrangement, and they have citizenship. I was like, how do you live with that? How do you even arrange that? How do you help your life? You're trying to authenticate and make your life real, but you're helping, in your case, you're helping your life become fake. How do you live with that, knowing that this is fake? Right? So this is what happened. The pastor of New Life City Church in Maryland. So that's the name of the church. New Life City Church in Maryland, right? New Life City Church in Maryland. So Maryland, that's in the USA. So his name is Pastor Joshua Ola Tokumbo Shonubi. That's his name. So he allegedly arranged an estimated 60 fraudulent marriages and submitted reference letters on official church letterhead to a federal government agency. So he was actually in support of that. I'm sure I'm sure he's doing, he did all that because he's going to be paid also to get some sort of percentage. If you're trying to help one or two people, obviously we understand. But when this case, we're talking about 60 different issues, the situations. I mean, you've turned it into a business. Maybe some of them are church members. Some of them might not be church members. And trust me, I know the difficulty of going into a nation that is not your home country, especially in Europe or in the US, and you do not have your papers right. You cannot access a lot of things. You cannot get a proper job, or you cannot, you're being denied certain privileges of being, obviously, because they also have their own rules and the way that they do things. So what happened next is he allegedly recruited and groomed American citizens with payments and promises of money in exchange for helping the foreign nationals acquire permanent residency through the sham marriages, some of which he officiated. Wow. So he actually officiated some of these sham marriages himself after helping them. So he would get American citizens and then he would groom them what to say, how to say it, what to write, and all that. And he makes payment, or he promises them money if they would do this. If everything goes through, then they're going to be paid, all for them to help nationals from Nigeria or Ghana or South Africa or from Kenya in the US to acquire permanent residency, pretending they are married. So if it's a woman, they will have to get a man that they would, American citizen, man that they will groom for him to pretend to be in love with her and wanting to get married. If he's a man, they will get a woman who will pretend, she will get paid, obviously, pretend to be in love with him, in a relationship with him, and want to get married to him. And they would go and get all these papers registered, and him himself, the pastor, Pastor Joshua Sonubi, would now officiate, some of the marriages. What a shame. And I understand a lot of people, Africans, when they go to Europe or when they go to the US or in South Africa here, when they find life difficult with their papers and everything, the first place they run to is church, just to have some sort of covering and help. And also because they believe they'll go to church because they believe God is able to help them. Now, when they now come, there's quite a lot of them in churches. A lot of these churches you see, Nigerian churches or Ghanaian churches you see across the world, there's quite a lot of people that go there that their papers, their residency is not appropriate. And I know, that's a challenge. And sometimes they make it difficult for Africans. But because they made it difficult for me doesn't mean I should break the rule. Doesn't mean I should do what is not permitted. Not even using the church or using my position as a pastor to facilitate all this. It clearly shows that you're not actually helping the person. You are actually exhibiting your greediness because now you're getting money out of it, or you're helping them because you know they're going to be your church members and they're going to support the church. They're going to give their tithes and their offerings or whatever, and that's totally a sham, and that is deceitful. And finally, it says on at least 34 occasions, Shinubi also allegedly created false rental leases, listing JPRO, a corporation he formed in 2015 as landlord, to provide proof that the foreign national and the US were living together when in fact they were living separately. Because that's what they normally ask. Are you living together? How long have you been together? Do you have kids? Do you share any sort of bank account or whatever? You know, they need to know this thing. That's the questions they get to ask the citizen, the US citizen, and also the other national. And they do that in South Africa before they give you permanent residency. They call your wife and ask questions. That's what they do. But here he actually created false rental leases. You know, through his own company, he created false rental leases, you know, documentation for them to present that shows that they are living together. Come on. It seems like this is to be honest with you, for me, this pastor was basically running this as a side business. And I'm sure he made a lot of money from it. He's probably a US citizen himself. And now he faces about 5 years in prison for these things that he has done. This is him, dressed obviously with a heart as a Nigerian man, you know. He obviously, you could see that maybe his mom was colored, his mom was like half caste, as you call it in Nigeria, or white, and one of his dad is probably Nigerian. So you could see the mix, you know, from his looks. And sometimes even us Christians, we tend to tolerate when a pastor is cutting corners. We tend to feel it's okay. We tend to think, well, that's God's way of helping us. That's God's way of helping another person. You cannot cut corners and do what is wrong and now claim that it is God's way of helping you or of helping the person get out of the situation. No, it doesn't work that way. God can do and help you regardless of you cutting corners, regardless of the challenge, regardless of the denial. Maybe they've denied you your permit to extend it. They denied it over and over. They denied you your work permit. They denied you this. They denied you that. Regardless of the mountain before you, God is able to move it miraculously. His ways are not our ways, so we would not understand that. But what he desires from us is to trust him and to confidently say, look, we trust you, and that's the only way. We're not going to cut corners, because the moment you cut corners, you've actually changed your allegiance from God to Satan. That's what happens. And that's what Satan wants, because cutting corners weakens you as a person, because it weakens your values and your principles. And that's what he wants. So anybody that wants to weaken your values or your belief, your faith in God, anybody that wants to weaken and distract you from following, you know, and obeying God, is basically trying to weaken your faith. He's trying to get you to live a life that is not the full life that God has called you to do. No matter how difficult it is, you have to stay doing right. No matter how challenging it is, you have to stay doing right. And that's just the fact. You have to keep staying doing right. It's going to get difficult. It is difficult. But for a pastor who is a leader, who is supposed to lead by example, now getting involved in this, it is sad. Because wherever we are, we find ourselves as Christians, whether you are a pastor or not a pastor, wherever you find yourself within your business community, within your job career community, within your family community, you are a leader. You're supposed to let your light shine. So how would you let your light shine? How would your light shine if you were involved in some sort of crooked ways? It's never going to work. Letting your light shine is not a popular way of doing things. It's not a popular way of doing things. And sometimes it's not beneficial to you. It might be beneficial to other people, but that's what God has called us to live and to walk through those kind of paths. It's important. So this Nigerian pastor is facing 5 years in prison for allegedly fixing fake marriages. I hope he's going to be able to. Sometimes you hear these things and you just say, I hope it's not true. Because fixing fake marriages it's a big issue. It's a big issue. I wonder what his church, New Life, is going to say or think about this situation. I see your comments. Hey, Victoria, thank you so much, Victoria Oriowa. Victoria just gave a donation to Super Sticker of £5. Thank you so much. God bless you. Nothing is too small, nothing is too big. Thank you for supporting the work that we do. Harley says he was not a pastor. This simply reveals his main source of income. It's so easy to cover up these atrocities with pastoring. Lots of cash is always involved in marriage scam. That's right. And Harley, to be honest with you, maybe he was a pastor, but then just the greediness and the love of money, now got the best of him. Because there are pastors that they start well, but then the love of money or challenges, they don't have money and all that, and they want to make money or they have family needs, and then they begin to compromise, just like this pastor. But it clearly shows his heart. Tembi says they can only get away with these things in South Africa. Yeah, even in South Africa, Tembi, they've gotten some of them. I know people that they've revoked some of their citizenship, Nigerian nationals whose citizenship was revoked because they found out that he was either married in Nigeria and came here and got married again without dissolving the first marriage, or the marriage was actually fake in itself. Jennifer, these are wolves in sheep's clothing. No stone will be left unturned. They must just repent. Indeed. Indeed. Christine says, what I've always wondered is, are such marriages seen as legal even before God? No, it can never be legal. It can never be legal before God, before the constitution of the country is not legal, because it's fake. From the beginning, it's fake. There's no marriage there. It's sad. Thank you, Grace. Grace Thomas made a donation of 4.99. That's $5 through Super Sticker right here on YouTube. Thank you guys who are making these donations. This is going a long way. I do quite a lot that I've been using my own finances to do for so many years now. So it's good to see you guys, really donating and giving. I would really appreciate any one of you that can help. And here we have Maxwell saying many so-called pastors were never called to be pastors. Bongani, we expect a pastor to live a holy life. Stoombait, so it's saying, how do we send stickers? It's right there. Just check where you are. Just check. You can only send stickers. Sorry, you are on Facebook, Stoombait. So you can only do that on YouTube. So only those on YouTube will be able to send super stickers. Moape says, what an embarrassment to the body of Christ. Malaya, just bringing shame to the name of the Lord. Princess has a very strong story here. She said, I was offered 15K to do pretend marriage few years. I said no. God sleepeth not. Wow, you did the right thing. We must say no without even taking time to think about it because we know it is wrong. We know before God that is shameful. The foundation of marriage cannot be recognized before God. This is sin, Pastor. Totally. Cheryl says it was grace for him to be arrested. Now he can repent. Indeed, he must hurry up and repent. Malia says, even here in the UK, these scams are there. Yeah, I agree with you. All across the world. Thank you, watching from Kenya. Puna in the UK says, it is very common here in the UK. You see? So it's all over. It's all over. And sadly, a lot of the people involved in this are Christians. We have to get to a place where we say, look, I cannot compromise my values. I cannot compromise who I am. How can I carry a fake passport, citizenship for the rest of my life? Like I'll be carrying a lie. That's too much a burden to carry. Carrying a lie with me when I fly, when I go to this country, they're stamping it. I see my photo. I have this passport. I know it's fake. I know it's a lie because I didn't get it the right way. Maluni says, foolish all the way from Nairobi, Kenya, as usual. Doing a good job. Thank you. Thank you. So, people, let's keep our eyes open. Whatever comes around to compromise us, we cannot let it. Even if you are not a pastor, it doesn't mean because you're not a pastor, then you can compromise and take the wrong route and do things that you're not supposed to do because you're not in the higher echelon of spirituality. No, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way at all. So please keep yourself and keep following God. No matter how difficult it is, stay on your lane. Keep serving God. If they get to offer you money, no, there's no amount of money that should make you trade, embrace disobedience to God. So you're basically crucifying Christ again. There's no amount of money that should make you want to sell your birthright like you saw. You suffered it. Fate says, I decline his offer. Sadly enough, the gentleman has since passed on. Wow. Okay, let me see the first part of the story here. Fate says, this story reminds me of a gentleman from Kenya who offered me 25,000 to marry him to obtain South Africa's citizenship. And then she declined his offer for 25,000. No, Fate, you're not that cheap. You are the child of God, and you would stay right there. Thank you, Malaya. Malaya just also made a donation by a super sticker on YouTube of £4.49. Thank you, and God bless you. Dobson summarized it well. Marriage is a sacred union that is taken seriously by God. So you cannot go around and take what is sacred and make it fake. Even as a pastor, even some pastors that wed people that you know that these people were living together and fornicating, but you never told them anything. God would hold you responsible, especially if these people don't get to make their ways right with God. It's a process. If I was a pastor with a church and you come to me, you want to get married and you're living together, I'll tell you, sorry. It's a process. First thing first, you guys should stop living together. Let's go through that process. I'm not saying you shouldn't marry each other, but you guys should. But anyway, Thank you guys so much. Really appreciate your time. I'll be back again later with another news story. So please watch out for that. And may his goodness and mercy follows you all the days of your life. Thank you so much and God bless.
As a church leader, your time and resources are limited. It's difficult to find discipleship and Bible study materials that are affordable, easily accessible, and high quality. But there is a way to equip the people in your church every day of the week without losing sleep. Welcome to Right Now Media, the world's largest library of video-driven Bible study resources, used by more than 20,000 churches, schools, and organizations. With a Right Now Media subscription, everyone in your church can access thousands of biblical resources for kids, couples, small groups, and more. Give your members access to great content, anytime, anywhere, on any device.
And God specifically says, the way you think, that's not the same way I think.
Equip and inspire everyone in your church beyond Sunday.